up all the way from roads to one state to all 50 states. So the question is, how do you visualize performance? The question we've got is, how good is your transportation system? Which really comes down to, where are you now and where do you want to be? So you have performance measures, and so ASCE has ranked the entire country and said, we score a D+. Get the full story. You guys are talking what Donna Wong said. So if you're really looking at what we want, now Florida looked at core measures and supporting measures, which is what we heard from Virginia, that there is a small set of measures that are very important, and then there's supporting measures that get more detail for the kind of stuff that you want to do. So in order to make better decisions, as Donna said, you have to tell a story, that you want to show your data in a way that makes sense, and then see new insights, which is what our visualization community is all about. The question is, what are you doing? So what data do you present, and are you creating traditional reports or providing visionary support? So that's what we're going to go. So we've got some really cool new tools to be able to take from a high-level view and drill down to exactly the kind of information that people want to have to be able to answer their questions. So a very simplified version that we're looking for outcomes. So what are the number of fatalities? Outputs are the program results that you're using to help get there, and then the strategies that you're using to help implement those programs. And I could call that mega, macro, and micro, but that's a whole nother 45-minute talk. Now, Virginia, what I appreciated was the Virginia dashboard is not just for transportation. It's part of a system for the entire state. So they're looking at the mega, macro, and micro. They've got scorecards. You can see down here that there's the 4 primary things for transportation, but again, part of a larger system. So really what we want to do is storytelling. You've got to simplify your message so that people understand it. You have to illuminate it so that they get it. You've got to motivate them to action, and then the data's got to be credible or it all falls apart. So how do we communicate data? We all know about traditional reports. We create a report. Now, if you take the summary one-page version of that, we can get a scorecard. We can summarize it so you can see it in, that's what the secretary wants to see. Show me the one-page version. Now, if we take that scorecard on paper and push it into an online system, then we can get a dashboard. And then if we can drill back down through interactive tools, we can really get the kind of data that we want. So I call those traditional reports on one side and then visionary support on the other. So you've all seen the Gartner Magic Quadrant that says, kind of ranks things. So I'm thinking, what does that look like for performance? Well, if we've got traditional reports down in this lower quadrant, and the more outcome-oriented your measures are, you can get to visionary support, that the more ability you are able to provide to decision makers, that becomes traditional support, and then we get to visionary support in that upper golden quadrant. So what I did is I looked at all 50 states, and all I'm seeing is the public side of things, and ranking this. This is not completely perfect, so that's the caveat. But what I wanted to do is just take a couple of examples. So from Maryland, I found a great traditional report that they had online. Florida's got what I would call a visionary report because it's got great outcome-oriented, but it's a PDF. The Gray Notebook from Washington is, again, a good example. They've got their major report that comes out. They have their light version, their kind of summary version. Their reports are quarterly, so they're constantly telling stories, putting those stories in context and keeping it current. And then we've got the VDOT dashboard, and in particular what I liked is you start at a high level and you drill down to the, basically visualization is the way you can transform the way you actually make decisions.